It's Wednesday, September 4, 2024. This is CVM News at noon. I'm Raman Gordon. There's a by-election headed for Northeast St. Anne come September 30. That's according to the island's government leader, Andrew Holness, who made that announcement at a surprise stop-in at a post-cabinet press briefing on Wednesday.
I am announcing that a by-election will be held in the constituency of Northeast St. Anne. The nomination day will be September 11th, 2024, and the election day will be September 30th, 2024.
Former standard-bearer for the constituency, Marsha Smith, resigned Tuesday to make way for the party's new pick for the division, Matthew Samuda. Samuda stepped down as senator and minister without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister on Monday. If successful, he will resume his ministerial duties. Now, the seat was previously held by the JLP's Shahini Robinson for 2 decades. On an editorial note, in our story last evening on the resignation of former Northeast St. Anne MP Marsha Smith, we said she was the daughter of JLP stalwart Derek Smith. Her father is actually the late Ernie Smith, the former MP for Southwest St. Anne. We apologize, of course, for that error. Moving on now, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his administration is bullish on educational reform. That's why his government has set sights on high school placement exams, which he believes have created a stark social divide.
Education is not only for the bright. And once we get over that and we recognize that every school must perform to the highest standard, so it doesn't really matter which name brand school you go to, you're going to get the best quality education.
The divisive primary exit profile PEP is the sorting standard for primary learners seeking entry into secondary institutions. Now, since its 2019 debut, the assessment has been the point of contention, with educators and parents arguing it imposes undue academic strain on young learners.
We have now stretched over 3 years, and we're seeing burnout among our children. We're asking you to listen to us. We're on the ground. We see it. We're seeing a lack of focus and love of education. And while we embrace the idea and the concept behind the PEP of promoting greater level of creativity, divergent thinking, and critical thinking, we believe some of the challenges lie in the age appropriateness and complexity of some of the tasks the children are asked to do.
The Prime Minister says he agrees.
It is a travesty in my mind that we place so much pressure on our young ones at an early age, where some may naturally exhibit the ability to grasp information quickly and regurgitate it. That is not a measure of intelligence or creativity. And we distribute our best educational spaces in that way to the detriment of the rest of the society.
That's why the Holness cabinet says it's shifting gears.
We're piling on too much on our kids at an early age. We need to ensure that they can read, that they can function well in a numerate way, that they can articulate, and that they can interface with technology. Once we get them those core learning skills, the world of knowledge is open to them.
Still on government matters, on Saturday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced the launch of the Reach Road Rehabilitation Program, which has been estimated at $3 billion. Speaking on Lead Story Tuesday, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Robert Morgan, said the initial road repair program, Spark, will not be able to facilitate all road repairs.
It was long in coming. We've been in discussions with the Ministry of Finance for a few months, based on the recognition that because of burial and other events, and just the general wear and tear on our road infrastructure, that it was needed for us to have a, for want of a better phrase, a patching program to give some respite to our motorists, both the commuting public and those who operate private and public transportation vehicles. So it wasn't because of back to school, though back to school is an important event which requires specific attention, but it was because of a recognition of a long-standing, medium-term issue that the government needed to intervene in. NWA would have done assessments across the island, and they would have recognized the challenges that we face on our main roads, and especially also on our community roads, and we would have gotten reports. And the good thing about it is that we have carried out a consultation process related to Spark, which has given us insight into a wider challenge across the island. So Spark, while we're going to be fixing a lot of roads on Spark, we will not be able to fix all the roads in Spark.
A female vendor seen urinating in a container in the back of a motor vehicle in Montego Bay in a now viral video could face prosecution. The announcement was made by the St. James Health Services on Monday.
This vendor will not be able to continue as is because based on investigation, she would have breached our regulation, a food handling regulation in several areas, so she will not be allowed to continue, and actions will be taken accordingly. She is liable for prosecution based on her breaching of the regulations as stated in our regulations, food handling regulations of 1998. Because of the breaches that we have found, she is liable for prosecution, and that we'll be doing this week.
Sign language is one way the deaf communicate, and Ready to Sign is geared towards advocating for Jamaican Sign Language JSL to be officially recognized nationally. Speaking on Sunrise this morning was CEO for Ready to Sign, Andre Witter, and signed language interpreter Michaela Mandy Cohen. The organization is also championing the repair of the Deaf Community Center in St. Elizabeth, which was damaged during the passage of Hurricane Beryl.
Firstly, sign language is very important. Overall, in the world, there are about over 100 countries that have recognized sign language as their official language. We have Caribbean countries that have already recognized sign language as their official language. So I say to the Prime Minister of our country, why not make Jamaican Sign Language an official language of Jamaica to celebrate, especially by the end of September, to help celebrate Deaf Awareness Month, because it's important for communication access for all, right? Reason being is that with deaf people, they have to pay a lot of money to create their own communication access because their language is not yet recognized as official. And so we realize in Parliament, there's an interpreter there, right? They use Jamaican Sign Language there. The Disability Act 2 years ago, which came into effect February 2014, the Disability Act names Jamaican Sign Language, so we need it to be an official language. So based on our history and our culture, deaf people love to gather and socialize so they can express their experiences, right? And so that their language can continue to develop. So when the hurricane impact came, it was a big thing. Communication access was hard because there was no technology, because there was no light. They started to get depressed because they didn't have that socialization, right? And it's not only the hurricane impact, it's also termites, right? There are termites there, and it affected the structure of it, and it's now weak. And so we need a lot of repairs to be done. We're changing out some of the wood on the roof. And also we need to kill the termites. We need to spray the building to kill the termites. And so the cost for repairs is going to be about $1 million. And it's really not enough, but we need to start with something. And we're going to start with something this Saturday, and then we're going to continue in the next 2 weeks' time.
And the president of the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools continues to identify teacher shortage as their most pressing issue, noting that the problem affects the quality of education the students receive. Britannia Witter has that story. Actually, we're going to have that story after this quick break. Stay with us.
Welcome to Candy Craze, your one-stop shop for everything sweet. Got a craving? Planning a party? We've got you covered. With over 200 different types of candies and chocolates, you're sure to find your favorite here. Create your own ice cream flavor by mixing in your favorite toppings, or enjoy our delicious milkshakes, blizzards, dip cones, and Belgian waffle ice cream sandwich sundaes. Visit Candy Craze at Progressive Plaza Barbican and upstairs Fontana Waterloo. Candy Craze, making every moment sweeter.
In need of a loan? AIM Financial is the place to go. We have loans from $20,000 to $3.3 million. Get a loan to pay school or college tuition, medical expenses, bills, fix up your house, buy furniture and appliances, repair or buy a car. And when you're done, take a vacation loan. AIM has a loan for any purpose. Call AIM today. You won't find a better deal elsewhere. Guaranteed.
What's your story? What's your sign? You're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our way. We come alive.
Welcome back. We're upon our discussion segment. Marsha Smith has resigned from the post as Member of Parliament for North East St. Anne. In a post-cabinet press briefing this morning, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced Minister Matthew Samuda has also resigned from his post as Government Senator and Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, of course, to avail himself as Marsha Smith's replacement. Now, joining us to discuss these and other developments, we have two eminent minds. We have political commentator Lloyd B. Smith and also Ms. Carol Archer. Welcome to you both.
Thank you for having me.
Professor Archer, do forgive me. We're going to start with you, Professor Archer. What do you make of Minister Marsha Smith's resignation from the post? Does it come as a shock at all?
No, I don't believe so for the average Jamaican nor for the constituents, because over the years we have, but certainly over the past 2-3 years, we would have seen the constituents voicing their concerns about the level of representation provided by the Member of Parliament. So it's not a surprise, to be honest.
Professor Archer, I want to stay with you for the second question, and then I'll go to you, sir. Senator Matthew Samuda has been touted as Smith's replacement for months. Now, how confident are you that he'll perform well in the upcoming by-election based on what we've observed?
Well, it's very difficult to say because given the nature of our politics, how well he perform either as an MP who is serving as a member of Parliament serving as a minister, or even an MP in opposition if the JLP were not to form the government. It's very difficult to say. And of course, we can also use past performance of Mr. Samuda. He worked as a senator and also in his professional life. It is going to be very difficult, I think.
Mr. Smith, I want to carry you into the conversation very quickly. Now, the Prime Minister at a post-cabinet press briefing earlier today hinted at a few changes in his administration. Now, does this spell trouble, or is the government, as it says, being proactive?
It does spell a lot of trouble because we are in an election mode, and it seems to me that things are falling apart. The center cannot hold. It's clear to me from my observation so far that the Prime Minister has found himself in a very tight place. To begin with, he has the resignation of the Finance Minister to deal with, as well as the fact that based on recent polls, his party is against the ropes.